Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Absolutely podcast. I am joined here by my assistant coach, Cassie, today, and we are so excited to record. I feel like we've been talking about this for a really long time. I mean, even before I even started Absolutely, we were talking about we should get a podcast in the works because we always have these like Instagram lives and stuff, and we talk for so long on them. So I'm really excited. And there couldn't be a better first guest than Cassie. So, Cassie, I kind of want you to introduce a little bit about yourself and like what you do here at Purpose Athletics, and then we'll kind of dive into everything else.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here, and I'm also so proud of you, Abbie, for just creating another platform for all of these ladies to come to and learn and all that stuff. So I'm excited to be the first guest. I am the assistant coach here at Purpose Athletics, and I work one-on-one with all the ladies that we get coming into us. And I have been doing this for how long would you say? I forget, like almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years in December, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to talk a little bit about like how I got into it and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm the assistant coach here and I post a lot on like social media if you guys want to like follow me over there. But yeah.
Yeah, she's being very humble right now, I will say. She has been such a life changer for so many women. And honestly, like I wouldn't be here without Cassie and all the help and stuff that she's given me. And we're definitely a good dynamic duo here. And
Yeah.
when I was looking for assistant coaches, I remember like meeting her and thinking, oh my gosh, we're literally the same person. This is going to be perfect. Even when I bring on clients that I feel like would be a good fit for her, I'm like, hey, if you love me, you're gonna love her. We're like the same person, just in different states, honestly. But yeah, I was looking at when I was doing some back end stuff today. Like we've helped almost like 200 women at this point, which is crazy. We're gonna definitely surpass that by the end of the year. So I'm excited to continue to help change some lives. But yes, Cassie, you already kind of hit the nail on the head. But with your fitness journey, I kind of want to talk about like a little bit about like what got you into fitness and just like go in depth on kind of your
Yeah.
fitness journey as a whole.
I'm excited to chat about this. I feel like I haven't gone in depth like ever. You talk a lot about like the lives and stuff. So on Instagram, we do a lot of like live trainings and they're pretty short. A lot of like the content now on TikTok and stuff is so short. So I'm excited to dive in. I think it all started with like when I stopped playing sports. Growing up, I played sports basically my whole life. Never really could even pinpoint a time where I would like think about my body or anything like that. Like I never struggled with any of that. So I think it all began after I stopped playing basketball and I was very sedentary. I gained some weight after I like stopped having that accountability with like a team and a coach and that sort of thing. So my journey began there. I the thing that kind of started it was like I knew after I graduated we go on this like senior trip, senior week, and we were gonna all be like at the beach and stuff. And I was like, I do not like how I look. So I dove into and basically just started going to the gym and just started at like the treadmill. My friend, shout out Lizzie if you're watching this, but she kind of introduced me to like Planet Fitness and I would go with her and then ended up getting my own membership there. So it all started just on the treadmill. And I remember I would like post walking for like an hour or running for so long and stuff like that. But after that, I really started to do my research. So I found, YouTube videos. I fell in love with like Whitney Simmons. She was really the
Yeah,
catalyst for like
I love
getting
her.
me into like lifting. Yeah, I feel like she's really inspirational to a lot of people. But I started like following her swipe workouts on Instagram. So that's kind of how I got into like weightlifting. I didn't really put all the pieces together with like nutrition until a little while in. So there was a lot of like trial and error, figuring out. I mean, I feel like that's how a lot of it goes. Um, but yeah, I basically was just watching so many videos, like what I eat in a days and kind of I remember like writing down a meal plan and like having this journal that I would write down like I'm gonna eat this for breakfast, like this day, this day, this day, and just like would plan all the stuff out. I'm very type A, like planning. So I would plan all that stuff out. I would do the swipe workouts and I started to see progress. So that's really what like kept me going. And then I invested in a coach eventually. And that's really what, set the tone. And I feel like for a lot of women, it's like it's the light bulb moment, right? It's like you find this coach and
Mhm.
your life has changed because they really set out like the plan for you. So that's what kind of kickstarted like all of this and where I am today and my mindset and all of that stuff. But it was a lot of trial and error in the beginning. And yeah, so that's my fitness journey. And now that's kind of bringing us to like how I started with coaching. So
Yay. Yeah. And, I think a lot of people will resonate with that journey, right? Of like all of that trial and error and wondering, like, what should I be
right.
doing? And that's one thing that, I mean, at least I know, like, we help a lot of women out with is like, hey, like, let's do something that's actually going to work with you. So I guess I have a kind of a question about like when you did hire a coach, like, what was kind of like the biggest like mindset shift or like thing that helped you when you did like actually finally ask for help? And was it scary asking for help or was it something that was like, oh, I totally want to do this?
A little bit of both. I feel like with starting anything new, it's like scary, but I knew that when I got uncomfortable was when I was going to grow, right? So what really changed my mindset was focusing on that all or nothing. And my coach was really like pushing me to get past that. I think that for me, a lot of the times, like with a lot of the things that I do in my life, it's like all or nothing, right? And she really helped me like just be consistent. She was like, instead of
Mm-hmm.
putting your all into it and then giving up when something goes wrong, just like show up as best as you can every single day. And that's what's gonna, bring you to the progress in your journey. Is like if you just would stopping and starting and stopping and starting, just keep going. That was like the biggest mindset shift there. And that's one of the main things that I like help my clients with today is like
Yeah.
just keep
Mm-hmm.
going. Just show up as your best every single day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably something that now you feel like pretty well equipped to help women out with. And I mean, at least when I'm talking with women, that's something very common that they feel like no one else struggles with. And all or nothing mindset is so real. Either they're like feeling like you're all in, 100% perfect, or all out. And so, like, the fact that you've been able to kind of like come out the other side, and I'm sure you still like, have those thoughts from time to time. I mean,
Right.
I know I do, but, able to help women now and get out of that cycle is really awesome. So, yay. I guess like that kind of leads me into my next question of like what made you like want to start coaching? Cuz I know before at least like we met, you were trying to coach or whatever, but like what kind of was that like was there like a light bulb moment where you were like I want to help other people with this?
Yeah. So after high school, I was like into the health and fitness. I decided to just let go of like what I thought everyone was going to think about me. And I started a Instagram page just to like post my workouts. I didn't really like know what I was doing, but I was like, I just want to motivate
Mm,
other people. So that was kind of like what started it. Um, Not like the coaching, but like I was
mhm.
doing that as a hobby, right? And
Yeah.
I was going to community college. I was obsessed with all of the like health and fitness classes. I was taking like women's health and I forget what they were all called, but
Mhm.
the health and fitness classes were my forte.
Mhm.
And I had to take this one class since it was community college. And it was basically designing and setting you up to like figure out where you wanted to go. I was
Mhm.
like, I don't really know what I want to do with my life. I'm going to go to community college and I had to take this class. And I remember it was like doing the personality test, like the Enneagram and all
Uh-huh.
that stuff. And it came out with a personal trainer. And I was like, this is
That's so
perfect.
awesome. Mhm.
I know. And
Fate.
I was like, I had to do a presentation on it. And I was like, this is literally what I'm going to do. And I didn't even know about online coaching at this point. So that was kind of my plan. But, well, wait, what was the question? I literally forget.
Just like what made you want to like get like inspired you to get into coaching or like let that light bulb moment.
Okay. Yeah, that was definitely it. And then when I started working with a coach, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I
Mhm.
think that the biggest thing that the light bulb moment for me was basically figuring out that this this coach basically is helping me, giving me a roadmap, setting me up for success, and this is what I want to do, right? Like I was struggling
Mhm.
so much with figuring out my way, not knowing if I was doing the right things, if I was going down the right path, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that was the biggest struggle for me was like, am I even doing the right things? Like, am I wasting my
Yeah.
time doing this stuff? So
Mm-hmm.
that was basically what made me want to be a coach, is like to just
Mm-hmm.
cut to the chase, help these women really figure out
Mm-hmm.
like what to do, and also having that person like alongside me. So I wanted to be
Yeah.
that for other people.
Yay. I feel like we're kind of similar in that aspect of that was almost like a turning point, like when we actually just got help and realized, wow, this is so like life changing and you can eliminate so much just trial and error and just like despair in your fitness journey if you just like decide to just bite the bullet and say, hey, I'm going to invest in a coach and just like go all in with that. Especially with the right person, right? Like I'm saying, find your person that you like really resonate with. But yeah, I mean, that was definitely a turning point for me. If you guys listened to last week's episode, you probably heard that. But yeah, I guess like now, like, so you've been coaching for 2 years. I kind of want to hear, and you don't have to lie, what your favorite part of coaching is, and then we could go into like also to like challenging parts of coaching as well. But let's start with favorites.
I think my favorite, I mean, this is everyone's favorite, is seeing the transformation, right? And being the one that is helping facilitate that. And also helping women with their mindset. That's one of my favorite things ever, because I know, and we say this a lot, is like the
Mm-hmm.
mindset is the glue that holds everything together. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, like I was just telling you guys, like my mindset was not where it needed to
Mm-hmm.
be, throughout my journey. And
Mm-hmm.
I finally have been working on that and feel like in a good place with it.
Yeah.
So that's like one of my favorite things, is to really
Yeah.
help like get a good mindset, be positive, and all that.
Yeah. What other mindset struggles like do you help a lot of women out with, or like common things? Because I think a lot of people, they don't even realize that it's actually a mindset thing. They think they just need to lose weight, but like it's actually a lot deeper than that. So what are some of those other ones that we see a lot?
Yeah, I just think a lot of it's like negative thinking, talking down on yourself. So that's a big one. Also, the binge restrict cycle, that kind of goes in with like the all or nothing. But if, I don't know if we want to dive into this, shall we?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go for it.
Okay. I'm like, we're on a podcast. We can go in depth. The
We're only
binge
12
restrict
minutes in. Let's
cycle.
go.
The binge restrict cycle is something that I see so often. And it's basically when you are all in, right? You're like, I'm going to restrict everything. I'm going to go on this crazy diet.
Hmm.
I'm going to give up all my favorite things. And then it gets to a point where you're like, F that. You're like, I need to go all in. I'm going to eat
Hmm.
everything. I don't like using the word like binge, because it's not
Yeah.
always like a binge,
Yeah. But
but
a lot
like
of people like refer
overeating.
to it as binge. Yeah.
Yeah, overeating. So that kind of goes into the all or nothing. But yeah, what would you say are some that thing?
Yeah, I think a lot of most people it is some sort of all or nothing mindset, like or even perfectionist, like feeling like they need to be
Yes.
perfect with the things that they're doing, which also is kind of like all or nothing in a way. But just feeling like they need to be like 100% perfect, which then leads them to either going in that like restrict binge cycle, or they just are either like all in or all out and there's no in between,
Mhm.
and they feel really bad about themselves. I can think of like a few clients and even myself, like that's kind of what I struggled with the most, was like feeling like I needed to be perfect and then letting myself down. That's definitely a big mindset. Comparison as well, like comparing yourself to someone that you either were in the past or like other people. I guess, do you want to kind of talk about like comparison for a second?
Yeah, I think that this is something that I still struggle with on a daily basis. So whenever I'm like helping a client through it, I'm like, I got to practice what I preach on this one. But I mean, one for us, like when we're in the health and wellness
Mm-hmm.
space, it's easy to like see other coaches or other personal trainers that have like abs and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't need to be that. But yeah, comparison with social media and stuff is so common these days. And what I try and like remind myself and help my clients with is, you are you, right? And also
Mm-hmm.
our physical is like the least interesting
Mm-hmm.
thing about us. So I always try
Exactly.
and be like, think about like how you are showing up, as yourself, because there's nobody else like you in the world. So I try and like preach that to my clients and also remind myself of that.
Yeah, totally. It's like that awareness. I feel like building those like rewiring almost someone's
Yeah.
brain. It's like a little bit about what we do, and it is just that like trial and error to get there as well. Um, I guess like now, like what are some like challenging parts of coaching? Because I know that obviously like there's a lot of amazing parts, but I'm kind of curious like what your thoughts are on
Yeah. I think rewiring the brain, like you were just saying, like
that.
we are so rooted in our habits, especially if you're somebody that's been like dieting or just doing the same thing over and over. I mean, with anything, like breaking bad habits is so hard. So that's, I
Hmm.
think, one of the biggest challenges is just trying to help these women realize that like you can do this,
Hmm.
and helping them break those bad habits and replace them with healthy
Uh,
habits. And also with the mindset too. It's like so easy to just fall back into those mindset patterns. So I
uh,
think within our like weekly check-ins and that sort of thing, I love those because I get to like help them and encourage them to keep going in our week to week check-ins.
mhm. Yeah. And I hate to put you on the spot here, but like when you're kind of thinking about all of our clients, and obviously there's so many different client transformations, like mentally and physically and all of that stuff, like what's one that kind of like really stands out to you that I don't know, was just like that totally like butterfly coming out of their cocoon moment?
Should I
There's
like
so many.
talk about the person? I mean, Charla, you
Yeah.
already know.
Hmm.
She was a lady coming to us, and she's just been a rock star client, like consistent from day one. But she was doing all the things, and we did an interview with her too, if you guys want to watch that
Hmm.
too.
Yeah,
But
she's so awesome.
she was doing all the things, right? She was doing cardio every single day, restricting her food. I
Hmm.
remember on the call, she was like, I was basically only eating salads.
Hmm.
So her transformation was one of my favorites. And we can touch on reverse dieting too, because I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of my
Hmm.
fortes. But I love those transformations with the reverse dieting clients because basically with Charlotte, what we did was we increased her food. We had her eating more, had her working out less, doing strength training, and she has been able to lose like 30 pounds by eating more food, which is insane. And just that light bulb moment, she is living her best life and it makes me so happy. I mean, in all of our check-ins, she's like, thank you. Like, I'm so happy that I found you. And that just makes me feel so happy as a coach, obviously, is like, I feel like I changed her life and she lets me know that. So her
Hmm.
transformation is definitely one of my favorite.
Yeah, then there's like so many too. Like I can even just like pick off the top of my head, but Charlotte's is definitely one that I look back and I'm like, wow, this is why we're doing what we're doing. And
Yeah.
just like reverse dieting as a whole, obviously we love all different phases, but like kind of what's your like favorite phase to coach people through?
Definitely reverse dieting. I think it's the most challenging. It's like getting the ladies through that mindset that like eating less is better and
Hmm.
you're not gonna gain weight if you eat more food. Like helping them
Hmm.
through that is so challenging. But that's why I think it's my favorite because it's the most rewarding. And in the end,
Hmm.
it's like the light bulb moment goes off. They're
Hmm.
able to see the transformation feel so good as well. So that's definitely my favorite phase. And moving into like what is my forte, I think would be reverse dieting.
Yeah, I guess like what's kind of your favorite part or like I guess like when do you see a client kind of like have that like light bulb moment and like how do you kind of get them to that point, I guess you could say?
I think the light bulb moment happens when a client is their mindset changes. It's like when they're like, I get it now. With the clients that are reverse dieting is like for so long they think that eating less is going to be the only answer to their
Mhm.
problems. And I've even had people that are like, no, I don't want to eat more. And those people are going to be
Mhm.
stuck in those ways. But the light bulb moment really happens when they're able to push past those fears and get uncomfortable. I say this a lot is like when we grow is when we get uncomfortable and out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Do something that you haven't tried before, and
Mhm.
they see that change happen.
Mhm. Yeah, and honestly, I commend our ladies that come to us and like put our trust or their trust in us and just say, "Hey, like give me what you think like needs to
Yeah,
happen." And cuz I know it can be scary like being vulnerable, but honestly like I mean, especially I've heard obviously all of your check-ins with your clients and stuff like we really try to provide that like safe space, I guess. So like what are some things like as a coach that you try to do to like I guess facilitate that safe space or just like be a coach that like they really want to come to with their issues and get vulnerable with you.
yeah. I definitely think. I mean, all my clients, when we first start out, I'm like, communication is key.
Mhm.
So I lay that out on the table. I'm like, be open, be honest, share your struggles, right? Like I have clients that are going through, I mean, everybody goes through stuff, right? And at Purpose Athletics, and especially with me, like as a coach, I want to be somebody that they can turn to, and push past the health and fitness. I like to go way more in depth and help them through everything because it's all so intertwined. It's like when you're stressed out about work or your family life, that's going to translate in your health and fitness. And so as a coach, I like to like let my clients know that this is a safe space and just be open and
Mhm.
honest, and I can help you
Mhm.
as best as I can, when I know that
Mhm.
those things are going on, outside of the
Yeah,
fitness and stuff.
for sure. And I think like one common misconception, I guess you could say, about coaching is that we're like judgy, or we think that we're like, I don't know, way above you guys because we're like been on our fitness journey for a while. And that's like
Yeah.
not the case. Like I feel like both of us, especially like, I don't know, both of us do this, but we're like, hey, we're not perfect. We actually expect you to have weeks that you don't hit your protocol. Like if you hit your protocols 100% every single week, I'm actually going to say, hey girl, like let's try to be a little less
Yeah.
perfect, right? So yeah, I think that like safe space and that breaking that kind of misconception is something at least like we've really tried to do here, is like being the coaches that like you feel comfortable saying, hey, like I went out this weekend, I was a little hungover on Sunday, so I couldn't get my workout right. Like how can we coach you through that like the next week? So
Yeah.
I feel like that's an important part too. Anything else that you like really like love helping women with, or like kind of like I guess you could say specialize in? I feel like I have a
I
couple ideas for you.
love
The hormones and stuff.
Yes, I absolutely love helping women just learn more about women's health. Like, I
Yeah.
realize that so many of us do not know a lot about like women's bodies, right? And our menstrual
Mm-mm.
cycle is something that is so just our whole life, is affected by this cycle and our
Mm-hmm.
hormones and all that stuff. So I love going in depth about and like when I first started coaching and like getting my certifications,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I learned it, which is
Uh-huh.
crazy to think that like we don't learn that in health
Mm-hmm.
class. I'm like, why is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite things. I love just the holistic approach,
Mm-hmm.
like helping people realize that every single thing is intertwined. And like I was
Mm-hmm.
just saying with the communication and stuff is like every part of our life, emotional,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual, financial,
Mm-hmm.
all those things make up wellness. And
Yep.
before I started working with you, I was going to call my company Wellness 360 because
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole thing, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
just what are we eating, how are we
Mm-hmm.
working out? It is so much more than that. And
Yeah.
I love, yeah, going in depth about like each and everything and making it more than health and fitness, or nutrition and fitness, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, even a wellness 360 is like, the whole, but even like I'm like, we're looking at the big picture here, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not just macros and workouts. And I think that's definitely another common misconception with coaching, is that we'll just be like,
Yeah.
hey, here's your meal plan. We don't even do meal plans, but here's your meal plan. Here's your
Yeah.
workouts. Like go have fun, when there's like all four legs of the chair. And I really liked how you brought that up. I guess how do we help women like with balancing their like hormones and stuff like that? Like what are some things that you do to help those women that are struggling with that aspect of things?
Yeah. I think the lifestyle, a lot of people don't realize like their habits on a daily basis make up your life and make up how you live. And just really, we focus on the basics, So when we focus on, are we getting sleep? Are we overworking ourselves? Are we stressed out? Those three
Mm-hmm.
things are so rooted in like how our hormone health is.
Yep.
And in today's society, I mean, I talk about hustle culture all the time. Like
Yep.
people run themselves into the ground. And so
Mm-hmm.
many of the ladies that I work with are owning their own businesses, working overtime,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of their kids, and they just neglect
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So I think that, that's something that is really transformational. It's like when they come to us, we focus on so much more than
Mm-hmm.
telling them what to eat. Like we were just
Mm-hmm.
saying, I mean, I'll
Yeah.
repeat myself, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot about lifestyle changes, and just the daily habits.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, so many women come to us and they think that they need like a workout plan and whatever.
Yeah.
But then when we do a deep dive, we're like, actually, the reason why you're not seeing results is because you're stressed out. You're working 24/7. You're not sleeping. You're having caffeine on an empty stomach. Like there's so many like
Yeah.
little nuances that, to be honest, a lot of fitness people, and I'm not bashing anyone else, but like a lot of fitness, just like in general, like fitness ideas and like content that I see, like does not focus on like the things I guess
Hmm.
like you could say aren't as like sexy, but in
Yeah.
reality, those things are going to be like what propels you forward. And those are the things we're actually looking at. Yes, we give you macros. Yes, we give you a nutrition plan and workouts and all of that stuff. But all those other things, if you're not, mitigating that, you're not going to see the
Hmm.
results. So I think that's one thing we both do really well, but especially with like looking at, okay, let's see those four legs of the chair and how can we balance all those together.
Exactly. And I think that one of the main reasons like why I was so compelled to like work with you and like when
Hmm.
we were on our first interview ever, I was like, purpose athletics. Like that is so powerful.
Hmm.
And we really connect to the why with our clients because for so many times it's like we can forget why we're doing those things and just be so focused on like how we look and changing our
Hmm.
appearance. And it can get lost as like why we're actually doing this for our
Hmm.
health. And I
Hmm.
think that, Purpose Athletics
Hmm.
really brings it in is like, what's your purpose in doing this? And I saw something on Instagram the other day. It was like, if the physical results weren't there and if we weren't going to change your body, would you still be showing up and doing these
Yeah.
things? And that was so powerful to me. Like
Hmm.
changing the women's lives and helping them realize
Hmm.
that is so powerful. And it just is my purpose is like helping these ladies
Yeah.
figure that out.
Oh, I love that. And I saw that quote too, and it really hit me as well because, to be honest, like at some point you're going to reach your goal. At least you should, right? If you're doing the right things, you will lose the 10 pounds, you will get more toned. But at the end of the day, that's not going to keep you wanting to be
Mhm.
healthy. Like you have to have a bigger purpose of, okay, like, why am I working out? Like if it didn't matter what you look like, would you still work out? Would you still eat healthy? And I want that answer for our clients to be like, yes, because it makes them feel good. And it not only shows up with their fitness and their outward appearance and their body, but like also I'm sure you've seen it impact like careers and families. Like I guess let's kind of talk about that, like how fitness is like even like, do you have any examples of clients that like their lives have changed outside of just fitness from this program?
Yeah, I mean, Charla, who we were just
Hmm.
talking about, I'm gonna keep piping her up, but
We love
she
her. To
she
the
was
Charlotte
telling me in her
podcast.
check-in, yeah, she was telling me in her check-in this week, like she's going to her 40-year high school reunion, and she feels so freaking good,
Mhm.
and her having that confidence just makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
But also, she's a real estate agent. Her business has scaled so much since she started. She goes
Mhm.
on like all these like talk shows and
Mhm.
TV shows, and her confidence is there,
Yeah.
which is translating,
Yeah.
from doing the
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
Another client, Mary, shout out
Uh-huh.
Mary. I know she's probably going to
Woo!
watch this.
Love
And
her.
she was telling me about this like couch or like a futon or something that
Mhm.
her husband had to help her with
Mhm.
every single time that they like took it out. And she was like, I have been lifting and I can feel the difference. I can put this thing away.
Mhm.
I'm like so capable. We talk about like putting our bag
Mhm.
into the overhead bin, just like
Yeah.
doing those little things, playing with your
Empowering.
kids. I mean,
Mhm.
those wins are my
Yeah.
favorite. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, hitting PRs are cool, but translating into your daily life is
Mhm.
even cooler.
Yeah, and like, so we have this thing called our purpose method, which is our approach on how we take all of our clients from point A to point B and beyond. I'm like memorize this by this point. But the last phase is the empower phase. Like, and that is really where we want to empower them to like do this on their own and have these things that go on. So when I see women like almost taking their power back, like a couple of clients I'm thinking about, like one got this like crazy like job promotion because now she has the energy to like show up to work and to like be this like boss girl, right? So like those things, or even just like having women like get out of unhealthy relationships or all those things, and they discover that because they take their power back with their health. It's so powerful to me when I see that happen because I feel like that happened to myself too. I'm like, yes, I got fit. Yes, I like am strong, but it allowed me to like start a business and to say no to people and things that weren't serving me. And that's ultimately like what I think fitness does is it should empower you. Like it shouldn't drag you down or be like, oh, I need to get skinnier. It's like, no, like this should be
Yeah.
something that literally levels up your life in a way that you never saw coming. And that's what we want to like show to people too.
Mhm. 100%. I remember before I started my journey, I would literally say to myself, if I was skinny, I would have no
Yeah.
problems. And I'm like thinking back to that, I'm like, that is so just
Mhm.
like that breaks my heart, you know?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
being able to like help other women do that, it
Mhm.
is so empowering to me and like
Mhm.
keeps me going, keeps me waking up in the morning because like you said in your health and fitness journey, like so many women live a life that is not fulfilling, right? They're like down on
Mhm.
themselves, they don't feel good, they don't feel confident, no energy,
Mhm.
all those things. And we just want you guys to know that you don't have to live like that. Like there's a way out. Um, and you know, you can live like the happiest, healthiest life ever. And there's
Mhm.
never a time that's too late, right? Like Charlotte, who we've been
Mhm.
hyping up this whole podcast, is like 60.
Yeah.
So there's never too late of a time, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, there's no better time than now, right? Like there's that other quote, like you have to like show up as her before you become her or something like that. But like the actions that you do today dictate what your tomorrow looks like. So if you're right now in a pattern of like not feeling your best or maybe just not living the life you want to, like know that you're in control of your actions. Like it doesn't have to mean like
Yeah.
investing in a coach or like whatever, but like you're in control of going on a walk instead of scrolling on TikTok. You're in control of these little things. And so like that's what we focus on too is okay, like we're not trying to turn your life on its head. Like let's focus on making these habits change so then over time you get 1% better every day. You're 365% better by the end of the year.
Yeah. I'm reading Atomic Habits, and that was
Again,
like
I love
one
that
of the
book.
main things I've read from that. It's my second time reading it, but
Mhm.
um, something you said reminded me of like my biggest pet peeve is for myself is like
Mhm.
if I keep complaining about something and I don't do anything about it, I'm like, what are you
Mhm.
doing? Literally, what are you doing,
Mhm.
girl? And this is
Yeah.
something that I really I'm so thankful that I started my journey because for so long, like I was just saying, I kept replaying in my head, if I was skinny,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have any problems. And I would beat myself up. I would not be confident, like not go out, not do certain things because I didn't like how I looked. And then one day I was like, I'm going to change it. I'm going to stop
Mhm.
complaining and I'm going to change it and take action. And that
Mhm.
was the best thing I ever did. So, yeah, if you're listening to this and you need that
Mhm.
push, this is it. This is your sign.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's you versus you. I mean, I've been in patterns in my life too where it's easy to play. It's way easier to play victim to be like, oh, like this. If this happened, oh, like poor me or whatever. And ultimately, at the end, like you have the control. Like you have the control to make a change in your lifestyle. You have a control to you know hang out with who you want to or make those decisions, right? So if you're like stuck in that pattern, know that like you don't need to be stuck in that forever. Like
Mhm.
today could be day one on your new journey, which is really, it should be empowering. And that's something like we try to help our clients too is like, let's take your power back. Like this is your life. Like, let's make your life something that you love to live.
Yeah, for sure.
Yay. Okay. Well, we were going to do a little bit of like diet culture myth busting here for a second. So maybe we'll like rapid fire, like our, I guess, like funniest things we hear or like just talk about like different diet culture like myths. So you go
Yeah.
first.
Okay, the first one I think is keto, is like thinking that you need to cut out all carbs. Carbs are literally the best thing ever. Carbs are amazing and delicious, and I don't know how anybody could give them up. I mean, when I
Yes.
was talking about my fitness journey, something that I never once did was like I could never undereat or starve myself, and I could never give up carbs.
Hmm.
Like I'm not that type of girly.
Hmm.
So for all the women out there that think they need to give up carbs to see results, you do not. You actually need carbs. Carbs are literally our body's preferred source of energy. So if we don't
Yes.
have those, you're going to be feeling like crap. My mom used to do keto.
Hmm.
Thank God she doesn't anymore, but she like was losing hair. She was just lethargic, right? Couldn't wake up in the morning, didn't feel good. So bottom line, keto is out. Keto is out.
Canceled. And you know what? For a very specific population, keto could work, but for most people, or honestly, I think probably 99% of the women I talk to, they're not a candidate for this. Okay. Like
Yeah.
you can have
Yeah.
carbs, like please have carbs. Honestly, if anything, when I started having carbs, I started making so much progress because your body's, yeah, like you said, your preferred energy source is carbs. So when you're not eating any carbs, you're stressing your body out. Most people that are doing keto aren't even doing keto because they're like, no, they're just messing it up and they're doing dirty keto and stuff
Yeah.
anyway. So like, let's just decide that carbs are fine, and because they're more than fine. They're amazing. So I like that diet culture
And
myth.
another thing is
Mhm.
going along with that is like the all or nothing mindset is so prevalent in these people that are
Yeah.
doing like keto and those
Hmm.
all the diet culture things because it's like if I don't cut out carbs and do all these things, like I'm just not going to do anything. And
Yeah.
it's hard to cycle to break, but we're here
Hmm.
to help you guys. So
Hmm. Okay, my next one, rapid fire, is that lifting makes you bulky. Because this is something I was a victim to for so long. I literally thought I was convinced that lifting was going to make me bulky, when actually that was the whole entire way that I transformed my physique, got toned, and everything like that. And I know we help so many clients with this as well. It's like get so scared to lift because I think it's going to like bulk them up, when actually it does the opposite, especially when you're doing like the right nutrition things with it.
yes, so many clients come to us and on their goals, it's like I want to be toned, but then they're scared to lift weights. Like that is toning up. It's gaining muscle,
Yep.
losing fat, and then your muscles are toned, right? So I think
Uh-huh.
that is a huge misconception. The same thing with protein. I remember
Mhm.
my boyfriend's mom was like, I don't want to have a protein shake. I can't have that. Like I'm gonna gain weight from it. I'm like, no,
Uh-huh.
that's not true.
Yeah. I promise you, if you start lifting weights, having more protein, you're going to like that alone. If you're not doing anything right now, like that will probably help to change your physique a lot. So,
Yeah, 100%.
okay, what's your
Okay,
next
next
one?
one. I think I would say juice cleanses. And this is actually something that I
Uh-huh.
did do once, but I didn't even complete the whole day. It was like a 24-hour juice cleanse. I couldn't even complete the whole day. I was like starving.
Mhm.
But people think that juice cleanses, they will help you lose weight, but you're going to gain it back in the next day when you start
Mhm.
eating because you're
Mhm.
basically not getting any food, right? You're probably peeing everything out.
Uh-huh.
And when we weigh ourselves, it takes into consideration so much more than just
Mhm.
fat loss or fat gain. So,
Okay.
all those things, you can have juices and they can get nutrients to your body, but you don't need to
Nothing
do a
against
juice
juice.
cleanse, right?
Nothing
Yeah,
against
I
juice. It's
like
just the
juice, but
cleanse
not the
part.
cleanse.
I think
Yeah,
anything
exactly.
to go along with that, anything labeled like a detox or a cleanse should be can't
Hmm.
like please really look at things that say that, because your body detoxes naturally. Like we go to the bathroom, your body knows how to detox. We do not need an extra supplement or whatever. Like if anything, you're just literally flushing your money down the toilet if you're doing a cleanse
Right.
or a detox. Those are not going to be, and they're not going to be sustainable. Like maybe you will like lose like a few pounds of water weight, but you're going to be absolutely starving and gain it back in like
Yeah,
one day. So
not worth it.
nope, nope.
And they're so
Okay. Yeah.
expensive. They're so expensive.
Yes, I know. They're very pricey. I'm like, just put that money towards, I don't know, hiring a coach or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, shameless plug. Um, I think my next one is just like these like quick fix programs that just like really grind my gears. There's a lot of people out there that are really hyping the quick fix because I mean it's sexy to sell. It's like, oh yeah, you can like get these results in 21 days or whatever. And honestly, I see just so much more harm than good from these. And a lot of the women that have done these programs over and over and over again then come to us and they're like, metabolism is wrecked, their hormones are wrecked, their relationship with food is wrecked. So anything that's like labeled like do this quick, nothing good comes quickly. Okay? So patience is
Hmm.
key. Anyway, sorry I'm ranting. You can share your opinions on this too cuz I know you
Very
do as
good.
well.
I want to go off of that. I want to go off of that because I think that those like quick fixes and stuff are so intriguing because in today's society, like we all want instant gratification and it's health and fitness, when you're doing it the right way is sustainable, is like a journey. It's lifelong. So the quick
Yep.
fixes are out and yeah, nothing good comes from this. But I think my next one is when people, this is like a general
Mhm.
thing, but when people like take all the supplements and like think that that's gonna
Mhm.
be a magic pill for
Mhm.
everything. It's like they don't sleep, they don't drink water, but
Mhm.
they take all these supplements
Mhm.
and they think that's gonna cure them
Yeah.
and help them lose weight and fix their gut health.
Mhm. You're essentially putting a band-aid on like a giant wound. Like that's how I like to think of it as is like if you're just saying, hey, I'm just going to take these supplements and you're not looking at your nutrition, you're not looking at your sleep, you're not looking at any of the other outside things, like that's going to fill up most of the bucket. And then the very top, like if you look at like the pyramid of like hierarchy of needs, the very, very top should be supplements. The bottom is like the basics, your workouts, nutrition, like those are going to be the big ones. And then supplements, literally, if you just do supplements alone, you're not going to see anything. Again, wasting your money buying a bunch of supplements and
Yeah.
not working on everything else.
Yeah. They're here to enhance your journey, not to
Exactly.
be the journey. They're not the journey.
They are not the journey. Okay, well, I think that was a good one to end on. We've literally been talking for 40 minutes, which is awesome. I think the longest, absolutely, podcast yet, which we love.
There
I
we
guess
go.
any like final thoughts or things you kind of like want to leave the audience with?
I don't know. That just thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be the first guest, and I can't wait to listen to this on my hot girl walk. But
Okay.
I just want everyone to know that, like we were saying, you don't need the quick fixes, the fad diets, the restriction. Like this journey should be fun. We want you to enjoy the process because it's all
Mhm,
about the process, not about the
mhm.
destination, right?
Yep.
Like weight loss and
Mhm,
the physical is going to come and it's like a byproduct, right? A
mhm,
byproduct of how you feel, how you're living and stuff.
mhm.
And yeah, that's what I feel.
Yay. It was so great having you on. You'll have to be, I mean, you're welcome back anytime. I love when people say you're welcome back anytime on the Absolutely podcast. But yeah, I think just echoing off of what Cassie said, like, if you're, I mean, resonated with either of our stories or like need some help or want to stop spinning your wheels too, like feel free to reach out to both of us. Like our DMs are a safe
Mhm.
place. We would love to talk with you guys and help you out with any of your health and fitness needs or even just chat with you as just one of the girls. But make sure to save this podcast, review, share it, all the things as well. But it was great having you on, Cassie, and we hope to see you next
Thank you.
week. Okay,
Yes, for
bye.
sure. Bye.